What's up those guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you know, it's a guy here, KUYUNI Dante, and welcome back to my channel. So if you come just subscribe, please subscribe it for free before to delay. Just take a minute and subscribe and like, please. So today I have a visitor for you guys. I have someone here, as you can see. Yeah. So welcome to my YouTube channel. Tell us your name, then we proceed.
My name is Megan.
Sorry for the noise, we have some planes passing by. I'm sorry guys.
They're practicing out there, yeah. My name's Megan, what's up?
I'm very fine. What about you?
I'm good. What do you want to know?
We want to know, okay, first question is this. Can you tell us, how do you feel as a foreigner being in Kenya or living in Kenya?
Like, okay, being a foreigner in Kenya, you definitely stand out. Yeah, you really know, like, when you go somewhere, people are watching you kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like when you go to the supermarket, people are paying attention to like what you're buying, and that's kind of a weird feeling. Especially living in Nanyuki, it's a small town. So like, I don't know, they like pay attention to you more than maybe if you were in Nairobi or Mombasa, maybe they wouldn't know as much. But yeah, so it's a small town, and I think living in Nanyuki or Kenya as a foreigner, it's cool in some ways, because you get to be a part of another culture, you know? Maybe something that you only see on the media, and now you can see it firsthand. Yeah. And you can kind of get to know the culture a lot more than if you were just to like watch a documentary, or if you like came for a tourist trip, or if you like came for a safari, you wouldn't actually get to know people from that country, you know? So I feel like I've met a lot of Kenyans, and I've come to really understand a lot about the culture here. So I think that's cool.
Well, okay, so, and what did you come here to do? Why are you in Kenya?
Okay, so I originally came to Kenya back in 2017 to be a missionary with the Salesian Sisters. So I was first in Hurlingham only for a couple weeks, and then I went to Embu, then I went to Dagoretti. So I kind of moved around, and I was here for a year. And then I came back in August 2020 to get my master's at USIU, and also to be with my then boyfriend, to like see how that relationship would go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So the other question, which is the next question should I ask?
You don't know.
Yeah, you know, I like having questions from my hand. I don't like writing questions down and come up later.
Yeah.
So I think the other question I should ask is, so as a foreigner in Kenya, what's the good thing you have seen here in Kenya, or you can say they are different, people are doing it different from US? Yeah.
Yeah, I think things here are adapted to the culture. Like, it makes sense here. Like, back home, we don't have people come up to your windows and sell you like fruits on the side of the road like they do.
Hustling allowed.
Right, like you don't have that in the US, but here it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Like here, because many people don't have cars, it makes sense that if you're in public transportation, matatu, you just pull up, people come, you get it, you don't have to like go out of your way. So I think things here are convenient, but it's a different convenience than back home. Like, convenience back home means you can drive to your big, like our supermarkets are huge, and you can get like anything you want. But here, it's convenient, like people make things convenient here. Yeah. Like, for example, like delivering drinking water to the house or delivering gas. Like those are kind of things that make life here more convenient. Having bodas everywhere, you just like walk outside, they look at you and they come driving towards you. Like, you don't even have to walk towards the boda. So there's a lot of convenience that makes sense within the culture here that I've never experienced back home, but it's like, it doesn't make sense back home, you know? So I think that's been really cool to see how there's a flow. And when I first came to Kenya, I was like, this is chaos. It's because I didn't understand the flow.
Yeah. You see guys, we have a lot of things which are much better here in Kenya, and you are saying that I don't want to be in Kenya. You see, we have some advantages also.
I will say, like, if you're, okay, say you're trying to buy something from someone and they don't have it, they will go running and looking for something. So yeah, we don't have like these giant supermarkets here that you can find whatever you need, but you have these people that, yeah, they're hustling, but they'll help you get that thing that you're looking for. Like, and if you have a last minute event, say like a wedding, if you're trying to get something last minute, people here, it gets done. But back home, you have to have reservations like months in advance. So having things last minute isn't super possible back home, but here it is.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
guys, we have one thing positive there. A lot of positive things here in Kenya, and you say, I don't want to be in Kenya. So the other question that I'll ask you, yeah, maybe you have never been asked those questions, or maybe they sound stupid or it sound funny.
Okay.
But I want to ask for my followers there and my subscribers to know, and my viewers. I have this question. You have seen there is street kids in Kenya.
Yes.
Are there street kids in US?
I can't remember seeing one. But we have people who are living on the streets,
That's
who are homeless.
I want to ask also, yeah.
But
Yeah.
children, it's like, I think it can happen, right? But it's like super rare because school is compulsory. And if a child is just like on the streets by themselves, they will be taken in by government services, social services, to be like, either their parents are found or their guardians, or they're like given in foster care to someone who will take care of them. So like here, to see kids just living on the streets, it's a bit of a shock at first, I will say. Yeah.
Yeah. How about those homeless people? What leads them to be homeless? Because many people, they say American is a lot of dreams or a lot of opportunities.
Yeah. Okay. So America is a land of opportunities, but it's not always possible for everyone to be able to tap into those opportunities. Some of the reasons for homelessness in the U.S. is mental illness. A lot of times people who have mental illness, it goes undiagnosed, untreated, and unmedicated, and they can just become too much. Like they have a hard time holding a job, have a hard time paying rent, and their family are just like overwhelmed and they don't take care of them. So that's one cause. And so when I say mental illness, that could also be like substance use, like alcoholism, or other drug use. And other reasons are like being discriminated against. That happens in the U.S. So there might be opportunities there, but you don't feel you are able to reach them because of a different factor, like race or religion or educational background, things like that. So that can limit you as well. So there's different reasons, and I did a mission trip one time working with people who were living on the streets, and there was one person I met, I won't forget, because they said, yeah, I want to live on the streets because I like that life.
Wow.
That's not the majority. No, that was just like one person I met, and maybe some others that feel that way, but it's like they like the freedom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the other question is this. I'll ask this small question. Well, you have seen in Kenya, we have a lot of fence around our properties.
Yeah.
In every house they have a fence. In every house they have a fence. In US, I have seen there are no fences. Why is that?
Yeah. It's one of those things, like I'm so used to living in Kenya. I've lived here for 3.5 years now, that when I go back home, I'm like, it kind of scares me.
Yeah.
Because here, like you have these metal doors, you have these big compounds, you have barbed wire, you have security guards.
Yeah.
Things that only the richest of rich have back home. Like very few people back home have that. Some people might have a fence for their dog, but it's not like a big old fence, right, with barbed wire. So there is that feeling of like, oh, this feels less secure back home. But I think the reason for that is, honestly, our police department is overall more responsive. I'm not saying they're perfect, but I'm saying here in Kenya, you can call someone and say, hey, they stole something, and they're like, okay, how much are you gonna pay for us to come fix it for you? And that kind of thing does not happen. Or even, okay, this isn't about police, this is about fire department, but there was one time I started a fire where I was staying. It was not my fault. But anyway, I started a fire, I called 911, the fire department came in a full-on truck, and these guys came in their things, and by that time the fire was already out. It was like in the stove. It's another story.
Not a whole building.
No, it was like the stove.
Yeah.
But they came, they inspected it, made sure everything was okay, and they came within minutes. And so that's just like one example, whereas in Kenya, if you have a fire, I don't even know what you do. Because I feel like I've seen fire trucks only a handful of times.
Yeah, they don't have water.
So I think security in the US looks very different, because we do have more like security cameras, we have more police presence. I don't know, because I think about that. Actually, sometimes when I go back home, I'm like, is this safe? I don't know. I feel a bit more safer living in Kenya, knowing that like the doors are much more solid and stuff. Yeah.
Let's move to another topic.
Yeah.
What about the food?
What about the food?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think about Kenyan food?
Kenyan food, it fills you up.
Yeah.
It makes you feel, it's very homey food, you know, like when you're hungry, you want Kenyan food.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I don't know, it's like comforting food,
Yeah.
I would say. I wouldn't say
Just to make you full.
it's to make you full. Right, like when I'm hungry, just give me some ugali and greens and like, don't mess around with other stuff. But I wouldn't say like there's a ton of variety. It's pretty much the same 5 meals replicated over and over. So
can you name them?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the staple is ugali, rice, chapati, potatoes, and pasta. Those are the 5 like basic staple foods.
And dairy.
I won't get there. I always leave that one out because I don't eat much. And get there. Okay, so maybe there's 6, and then you just basically make a stew with whatever vegetables you have on hand, whether it's cabbage and carrots or green pepper and zucchini. I mean, it's just like you just make a lot of stews to go with those other things. So I feel like there's not a ton of flavor. Now I know if you like go to the coast, there's a lot more, like the Swahili culture over there, there's a lot more influence from India, so there's like more interesting foods there. And I know if you go to Lake Victoria, there's going to be more fish. They eat a lot of ugali there. Like, so I know there's different pockets, but I'm just saying, like, my experience in central Kenya, the food to me tastes good, very fresh and healthy, but not much like excitement, I would say. But when I go home, I do miss ugali. That's the one where I'm like, oh, I could do with a pile of warm ugali.
Yeah. Which is your favorite meal here in Kenya? Let's say that.
My favorite meal is ugali with sukuma and then a nice tilapia, nice fried tilapia with the mouth.
Ooh. Yeah.
That's my favorite one here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also like dengu a lot,
Yeah.
with like potatoes cooked in it.
Yeah.
That's nice too, yeah.
Okay. You're married to a Kenyan.
I am.
So how do you feel about that? And
I feel great.
and how's your experience with her?
Being married?
Yeah,
To a Kenyan.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I mean, like my husband, he's pretty cool.
Ah.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of stereotypes about African men, I will say. And I don't know how much of that is true, but what I do know is that my husband is not quite like that. So, so I cannot speak for all African men, all African women's experience, but what I can speak for is from my experience, that my husband is very caring, very loving, always goes out of his way to make me feel better. And if I don't want to cook, he's like, okay, yeah, don't cook, which is great because I don't always want to cook.
Wow.
Yeah, so my experience has been good married to a Kenyan,
Yeah.
but that might not be everybody's experience, yeah.
Mm. So the other question that I would ask is this: what do you think about the education system in Kenya? That will be the last question. I'm not asking more questions.
I could talk for a whole video on this one.
Just make it short. Just summarize it.
Okay,
in
basically,
short.
when I first came to Kenya in 2017, they were still on the 844 method, and I saw that as lacking a lot of creativity, a lot of opportunity for critical thinking and problem solving, and just like, they just wanted answers. And so I saw, not good. And the government recognized that, not because I said anything, they just like saw it as well. And they changed to the CBC, the competency-based curriculum, which I'm like, yeah, okay, I can get behind this. It sounds really, really good. Now the CBC in practice, I feel like it's limiting to children that don't have many resources. It requires people to Google things all the time and watch videos online and to bring supplies to school all the time, and it's like, not everyone has access to internet or to be every day buying things.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the teachers, they're still in an 844 mindset from what I can see. Not all, but from what I've observed, it's like they still expect exact answers. So you take a CBC project, say to make a baton. Okay, like you send the child home and make a baton for physical education class. And the child does their best, they go back to school, but the 844 mindset is that it has to be exactly to the letter.
Yeah.
And so when it's not exactly to the letter, the child is in trouble, they get beaten, which that still happens, folks, like, unfortunately.
So
I I think there needs to be more training done
Yeah.
to really instill, like, no, CBC means, did the child try their best? Did they understand the assignment with the materials and the resources they had? That's what I think needs to be taken into account. Because otherwise you're like telling a child, like beating a child because their parents couldn't buy them wood to make into a baton. I'm like, that's defeating the purpose. The purpose is they came to understand what a baton is and blah, blah. So yeah, I have many thoughts about it, and if like the Minister of Education has anything they want to say to me, come hit me up. I have things to say.
Yeah, yeah. So guys, I think that's the end of our interview.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was boring or it was interesting, but the other thing, I think the last thing I can tell you is that she's my wife.
And this is my husband.
Yeah, so she's my wife, and if you like these more videos or more interesting video, me and her, I can be doing that. But if you wanna focus just on what I do just alone, I can do that. But if you want her to be always featured in my videos, you can just let me know. But also we have another YouTube channel called From USA to Kenya. It's our another YouTube channel which we do things together. You can also go there and subscribe if you're my subscriber here, or yeah. So let me know on our comment section if you want us to be doing something else here. Also, I can be with her always doing some other creativity things.
And I do want to say,
yeah.
I do want to say that I wasn't answering those things about having a good husband just because you're my husband, but like that's legitimately what I feel.
Oh, wow.
Just so you know, don't think that like I was like buttering it up for the camera.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
So guys, please continue subscribing, liking, and please turn off that notification bell that every time I upload a video there, you're the first one to see it. So thank guys for your support. Let's continue subscribing. Let's reach 2K subscribers. That's what we promised by the end of this year. So guys, thanks so much. We are almost there. I think we need like 250 subscribers to get it to 2K. And with you guys, I know we can make it. Guys, thank you, and see you in the next one.
I don't know if you want me to say it.